Right now, most yards across North America and Northern Europe contain at least 3 of these 7 plants. Herbal retailers sell their dried forms for $20 to $80 a pound, while homeowners pull them out by the fistful. Today, we're walking through all 7. We will cover identification, traditional uses, current market value, and one safety note for each. Let's begin with the one you already know by name. Dandelion, Taraxacum officinale, thrives in nearly every temperate yard, instantly recognized by its rosette of jagged leaves and a bright yellow flower perched on a hollow stem. After flowering, it transforms into a white puffball of seeds carried by the wind. For centuries, dandelion has been prized in both European and Chinese medicine. Medieval herbalists turned to its leaves and roots as classic bitters, believed to support liver function and digestion. In China, pu gong ying was used in decoctions as early as the Han Dynasty. Even now, some people roast the taproot for a caffeine-free coffee, a tradition dating back to 16th century Europe. Modern analysis reveals dandelion's roots and leaves are rich in sesquiterpene bitter compounds, echoing its reputation as a digestive tonic. Bulk-dried dandelion root commands $25 to $40 per pound, with wild-crafted tinctures fetching more. While generally safe, dandelion belongs to the Asteraceae family, so those with ragweed or daisy allergies should be cautious. Its mild diuretic effect means it is not for everyone, especially those with kidney or gallbladder issues. In second place, Plantain, Plantago major, spreads its broad ribbed leaves in a low rosette wherever soil is compacted, from garden paths to the edges of driveways. The parallel veins running from leaf base to tip are a reliable marker, and in summer, a single green spike of tiny flowers rises above the foliage. Across Europe, Plantain earned a reputation as the white man's footprint, a name given by indigenous North Americans who noticed the plant's spread alongside colonial roots. In medieval Europe, herbalists praised plantain for its ability to soothe burns and insect stings, often applying a poultice of crushed leaves directly to the skin. Norwegian folk medicine calls it groblad, or grass leaf, and old texts describe its use for dressing sore feet and minor wounds. Today, modern research has isolated compounds like allantoin and aucubin, which show anti-inflammatory and wound-healing activity in laboratory studies, though human trials remain limited. Dried plantain leaf fetches between $20 and $35 per pound from herbal suppliers, a price reflecting both its abundance and enduring demand. While plantain is generally safe, rare cases of mild skin irritation have been reported. For those with sensitive skin, a simple patch test is wise before using the fresh leaf as a poultice. Plantain's legacy as a first aid plant stands apart from edible weeds, marking it as a practical resource for topical care right underfoot. Third on our list, Yarrow, Achillea millefolium, spreads its feathery, fern-like leaves in dense mats across meadows, roadsides, and even the edges of suburban lawns. Its flat-topped clusters of tiny white or pale pink flowers bloom through midsummer, standing out against the green with a subtle aromatic scent. The plant's name recalls the Greek hero Achilles, who, according to legend, used yarrow to tend the wounds of his soldiers at Troy. Norse sagas and medieval European herbals echo this reputation, describing yarrow as a battlefield remedy, valued for its ability to staunch bleeding and soothe minor injuries. In Scandinavian tradition, yarrow tea was given to wise women for menstrual regulation, and in North America, indigenous groups prepared infusions for fevers and topical washes for bruises. Modern research has identified flavonoids and sesquiterpene lactones in yarrow, compounds shown in laboratory studies to have anti-inflammatory and mild hemostatic effects, though large-scale clinical trials are still lacking. Dried yarrow flowers, prized by herbalists and small-batch apothecaries, command between $35 and $50 per pound, among the highest retail values for a common wildflower. It is important to note that yarrow should be avoided during pregnancy, as both tradition and regulatory monographs cite its potential to stimulate uterine contractions. Those with allergies to plants in the daisy family should also exercise caution. With its storied past and high market value, yarrow bridges the world of traditional first aid and today's boutique herbal commerce. Number 4. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea, sprawls low across gardens and sidewalk cracks, forming a succulent mat of reddish stems and paddle-shaped fleshy leaves. Tiny yellow flowers open briefly in the heat of summer, but it is the crisp, lemony greens that have drawn attention for thousands of years. Archaeologists have traced purslane seeds to ancient Greek sanctuaries and Mesoamerican settlements, and Ottoman kitchen manuscripts detail its use in salads and stews. In Mexico, it is known as verdolagas, a staple in tamales and soups. Mahatma Gandhi described eating purslane during his fasts for its mineral content. Today, chefs prize wild purslane for its bright flavor and nutritional profile. Modern analysis confirms it contains more alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3, than any other leafy green. It is also rich in vitamins A, C, and E, and antioxidants. This gourmet reputation is reflected in the market. Wild harvested dried purslane can fetch $40 to $60 per pound from specialty herbal retailers. However, purslane also contains oxalates and nitrates, so those with a history of kidney stones should enjoy it in moderation. With its culinary pedigree and premium price, purslane transforms the idea of a weed into that of an edible delicacy. Number 5. Chickweed, Stellaria media, forms a soft green mat in cool, damp corners of gardens and lawns, often the first to appear as winter fades. Its tiny, white, star-shaped flowers and delicate opposite leaves make it easy to distinguish from other spring weeds. In medieval British herbals, chickweed was classed as a gentle, cooling demulcent used for soothing inflamed skin, or brewed as a tea to ease the discomfort of a sore throat. Early American settlers carried this tradition across the Atlantic, steeping chickweed tea during the first warm weeks of the year when little else was green. Today, chickweed value has shifted from the apothecary to the marketplace. Dried leaf, hand-harvested at its spring peak, commands $22 to $30 per pound from boutique herbal suppliers, with prices sometimes higher for small-batch, wild-crafted lots. Modern research into chickweed's effects remains limited, though laboratory work has identified saponins and flavonoids with mild anti-inflammatory properties. Most herbalists consider chickweed safe when harvested from clean areas, but as with any wild plant, proper identification and moderate use are advised, especially since its brief season means only a small window for careful gathering. Number 6. Lamb's quarters, Chenopodium album, often passes for an ordinary summer weed. Its diamond-shaped leaves, dusted with a pale, powdery coating, mark it as a distinct presence in gardens and disturbed soils. Sometimes called fat hen in British folk tradition, this plant was a staple green during rationing and lean years, and archaeobotanical finds at ancient Puebloan sites show its seeds stored as an emergency crop in the American Southwest centuries ago. The leaves, tender when young, are related to quinoa and share a similar nutritional pedigree: 3 times the calcium of spinach, a generous helping of vitamin C, and a full spectrum of minerals. Foragers recognize the mealy underside as a key identification point, and the plant's rapid growth means it can reach waist height by midsummer. On the herbal market, dried lamb's quarters leaf or seed typically sells for $24 to $36 per pound, making it a modest but reliable source of value for those willing to harvest carefully. One important safety note: lamb's quarters contains oxalates, which can build up in the body if eaten raw in large amounts. Cooking the leaves not only improves flavor, but also reduces these compounds, making the plant a safer and more nourishing green. With its long pedigree as both famine food and mineral powerhouse, lamb's quarters reframes the idea of a weed as a resource hiding in plain sight. Number 7. Mullein, Verbascum thapsus, stands out in any neglected corner or roadside with its towering yellow flower spike and broad, velvety leaves. In its first year, mullein forms a low rosette of soft, woolly foliage, pale green and thickly covered in fine hairs that feel like felt to the touch. By the second summer, a single upright stalk can reach 6 feet, crowned with clusters of small yellow blossoms. This striking plant has woven itself into folk medicine across continents. Roman writers praised mullein leaf infusions for easing coughs, and Norse and British herbalists valued it as a lung herb. Indigenous peoples of the eastern United States dried the flowers for smoke blends and crafted warm oil infusions as eardrops, a practice still echoed in Appalachian remedies. Modern research points to Mullein's mucilage and saponins, compounds that may help soothe irritated respiratory tissue, though clinical studies are still modest in scale. On today's herbal market, dried mullein leaf and flower fetch between $28 and $48 per pound, with flower oil preparations sometimes commanding even more. One important caution: the fine hairs that make mullein so recognizable can irritate skin and throat. Herbalists recommend filtering mullein tea through a fine cloth and handling the dry leaf gently to avoid airborne particles. With its dramatic presence and enduring place in traditional medicine, mullein closes the list as a reminder that even the most imposing weeds can offer both value and lessons in careful stewardship. Across all 7 plants, a quiet truth emerges. What we overlook may hold unexpected worth, both in tradition and today's market. With careful study and respect for both history and evidence, even an ordinary yard becomes a small apothecary. Sometimes value grows right beneath our feet.